When I say that I used to overthink every single aspect of my life, I seriously mean it. I would overthink conversations that I had earlier, choices, and I was always stuck on what people would think of me or making the perfect decision for the right outcome. And then I realized that overthinking isn't about the actual situation. It's a mix of fear, perfectionism, and self-doubt. So today I'm going to share 5 tips that have helped me stop overthinking and step into a more confident version of myself. So first things first, I want you to bring yourself back to the present. Overthinking usually comes from dwelling on the past or imagining the future. There's a very famous quote, and it basically says that if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. And if you're at peace, then you're living in the present. Focus on your breathing, look around at your surroundings, wherever you are, and bring yourself from your mind into your body again. I think it's really important because in today's society, we're taught to scatter our energy all over the place, and we're rarely present. And that kind of brings us into a state of trying to anticipate the future or overthinking the past. But when you really try to bring yourself into the present moment, you realize that everything is okay for the most part. Now that we're all present, let's talk about what overthinking really is. It's pretty much treating every single thought that you have as a fact. And when you realize that thoughts are just thoughts, you kind of take some of that power away. And if you're someone that's prone to anxiety like me, you will be more likely to overthink. And that's because it's kind of the way that your mind works. At this point, it's habit to worry. So your mind will just go in negative loops about a situation you just had, even though nothing actually went wrong. So it's really important to differentiate your way of thinking from the actual situation itself. It's completely normal to overthink some situations, like a job interview. But if you're overthinking every single conversation that you have or every life choice that you have to make, it's very important for you to intervene. Start observing your thoughts without judgment. An analogy that I like to use is picture a river and leaves flowing by in it. The leaves are gonna just flow, and it's up to you to kind of see them and let them go and not give them too much meaning. That's kind of how you need to start thinking of your thoughts. Not every single one of them that you have is true or accurate. It's also so important to name these thoughts. Are they out of fear, insecurity, self-doubt? Once you kind of can put a name on things, then you can learn how to overcome them. From there, try to actively stop your negative loop of thinking. One thing that I like to do is I like to laugh at myself. So if I say something like, "Oh my God, you look so stupid back there," I'm like, "No, I didn't. I actually look like a confident queen." And honestly, it sounds crazy, and it is crazy because at the end of the day, you're talking to yourself, but you have to intervene. Don't let your thoughts just keep going. Otherwise, you're just gonna keep putting yourself down and doubting yourself for no reason at all other than just plain habit. So if you're like me and sometimes have too much time on your hands, you'll use it to overthink and doubt yourself. I remember joking in the past and saying that content creation is my part-time job while overthinking is my full-time job because it was really that bad. And this is why it's really important to have goals, because it'll switch your mind from worrying to problem solving. For me, having 2 small goals every single day, 2 for my mind and 2 for my body, is so important for my mental health. For your body, you can set goals like going for a jog, doing an at-home workout, or even just going for a nice walk after work. For your mind, you can start a new book, meditate for 10 minutes, listen to a new podcast, so that way you're actively learning new things and thinking about those things, and that'll spark your interest rather than overthinking what happened 2 days ago. I'm telling you, if you start setting 2 small goals for yourself daily, writing them down and checking them off once you complete them, your overthinking will go down by 50%. Try this for a week, and I promise you, you will definitely see improvement. My next tip is to stop caring what other people think. And I know this is way easier said than done, but if you care what other people think of you, you're just adding another problem to your life because you will never be able to please every single person. And when you stop caring what other people think of you, you start living more authentically and freely. And honestly, it's way more fun. A lot of my overthinking used to come from over analyzing conversations that I had with people and then just automatically assuming that they don't like me. But one thing I recently started doing is asking myself, do I really like them? And I find that this switches my mind from wanting to people please to genuinely wanting to connect with others. Another way to stop caring what others think is to realize that we're all equals. Yes, some people may have more money than you or a better job position, but that doesn't mean that you need to put their opinion on a podium and disregard yours. At the end of the day, day, we all have something unique and valuable to offer any room that we walk into. So stop putting yourself down and start seeing the value that you hold as a person. And lastly, build up that self-trust. Realize that no one really knows you except for maybe like a small group of friends or family members, but at work, on social media, everywhere else in your life, you can literally act however you want and no one will know how much self-doubt that you have. If you met me a few years ago, you probably still would have assumed that I had confidence because I did social media, I maintained good eye contact while talking, but at the end of the day, I would go home and spend hours overthinking and overplaying every single conversation that I had, and honestly just feeling lower than other people. And that's why I really like the phrase fake it until you make it, because you gotta just act like you're confident. You gotta stop listening to that voice in your head that doubts you, and you just have to go for it. So in short, my overthinking used to be a serious problem in my life until I started goal setting, gaining confidence in my own abilities, and shedding the burden of caring what other people thought of me. At the end of the day, if you like yourself and you're a good person, that's all that really matters. I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help your girl get that engagement up. I post a video every single Saturday, so I will see you guys next week.